music forever, redefining rock and pop while influencing generations of artists. That band is the Beatles, the most legendary and influential group in history. But how did four young men from Liverpool take over the world? Let's dive into their incredible journey. The band members. John Lennon, the rebellious visionary, known for his deep lyrics and raw vocals. Paul McCartney, the melodic genius, crafting some of the most unforgettable tunes. George Harrison, the quiet yet powerful lead guitarist, bringing Eastern influences into their music. Ringo Starr, the charismatic drummer, adding a unique rhythm and charm to the band. The rise to fame. Formed in Liverpool in 1960, the Beatles started as a small rock and roll band, playing clubs in Hamburg and the UK. Their breakthrough came in 1963 with Please Please Me launching Beatlemania, a global phenomenon that saw screaming fans and record-breaking success. Musical revolution. From catchy pop hits like She Loves You to groundbreaking albums like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the Beatles constantly evolved. They introduced new recording techniques, experimented with psychedelic sounds, and redefined the possibilities of modern music. Cultural impact. The Beatles weren't just musicians, they shaped culture, fashion, and even politics. Their message of peace, love, and innovation made them more than a band. They became a movement. Even after their breakup in 1970, their music continues to inspire generations. The Beatles left behind a legacy that few can match. Their influence can still be heard in today's music, proving that their songs and impact will never fade. What's your favorite Beatles song? Let's celebrate the band that changed music forever. Imagine a band that starts as a progressive rock experiment, evolves into a powerhouse of anthems, and survives decades of change, only to remain one of the most beloved rock bands in history. This is the story of Journey the Beginning. In 1973, Journey was formed in San Francisco by ex-Santana members Neal Schon, guitarist, and Gregg Rolie, keyboardist-vocalist. Originally intended as a jazz fusion project, they struggled to find mainstream success. The rise. In 1977, Journey made a game-changing move by recruiting Steve Perry, whose soaring vocals would define their signature sound. With the classic lineup of Neal Schon, Gregg Rolie, Steve Perry, Ross Valory, bass, and Steve Smith, drums, they dominated the late 70s and 80s with hits like Don't Stop Believin', Open Arms, and Faithfully. Challenges and changes. The band faced turbulence when Steve Perry departed in 1987 due to health issues. They went through multiple lineup changes, with singers like Steve Aguirre, Jeff Scott Soto, and eventually Arnel Pineda, a Filipino vocalist discovered on YouTube in 2007, who helped Journey reclaim global success. Legacy. With Neal Schon as the only constant member, Journey continues to tour, inspiring fans worldwide. Their music has become anthemic for generations, proving that their name, Journey, perfectly reflects their ever-evolving story. Want to dive deeper into Journey's history? Listen to their greatest hits and relive the magic. Despite decades of ups and downs, Journey's music remains timeless. The secret to their success? Adaptation, resilience, and a passion for creating unforgettable melodies. "6 Minutes", a musical odyssey, a song that defied every rule, shattered expectations, and remains an enigma wrapped in a masterpiece. This is the story of Bohemian Rhapsody, the rock anthem that changed everything. Freddie. Freddie always had these grand ideas. He'd come to us with fragments, scraps of lyrics, melodies that seemed to come from another world. And then he presented this epic. He called it Bohemian Rhapsody. We looked at each other and we thought, how on earth are we going to pull this off? Archival footage of the band in the studio, overlaid with snippets of the isolated vocal tracks. The song was a labyrinth, a journey through operatic excess, hard rock fury, and poignant balladry. It was a fusion of genres that had never been attempted on such a scale. The recording process was grueling. Weeks turned into months. The operatic section alone took countless overdubs, creating a wall of sound that was unprecedented. It was a bold statement, a rejection of the conventional 3-minute single. They were saying, we're not going to conform, we're going to create art on our own terms. The lyrics, even to this day, are shrouded in mystery. Is it a confession, a metaphor, a surreal dream? That ambiguity is part of its enduring power. The music video, a groundbreaking visual spectacle, further cemented its iconic status. It was a mini-film, a visual representation of the song's theatrical grandeur. We knew it was special, but we had no idea it would resonate with so many people across generations. It's a testament to Freddie's genius, his vision. He was a true original. Experience the magic for yourself. Rediscover Bohemian Rhapsody. Let its operatic power, its rock and roll heart, and its enduring mystery take you on a journey. Because some songs, they transcend time itself. A single frame with the title Bohemian Rhapsody, the opera of rebellion, and a simple credit. What if a group of childhood friends, driven by passion and perseverance, could change the landscape of rock music forever? This is the story of Linkin Park, one of the most influential bands of the 21st century. The beginning. From high school dreams to a record deal. In the mid-1990s, 3 high school friends, Mike Shinoda, Brad Delson, and Rob Borden, formed a band called Zero in Agoura Hills, California. They were young, ambitious, and eager to create a unique sound. However, despite their talent, they struggled to gain industry attention. Determined to make it big, they recruited bassist Dave "Phoenix" Farrell, DJ Joe Hahn, and, most importantly, a charismatic vocalist named Chester Bennington. With Bennington's powerful, emotional voice complementing Shinoda's rap-style delivery, the band rebranded as Linkin Park, a nod to Linkin Park in Santa Monica. Their big break came in 2000 with their debut album Hybrid Theory, a mix of rock, hip-hop, and electronic elements that resonated with millions. Songs like In the End and Crawling became anthems for a generation, earning them a Grammy and worldwide fame. Riding the wave. Success, evolution, and experimentation. Linkin Park didn't stop at one hit album. They followed up with Meteora 2003, featuring hits like Numb and Somewhere I Belong, further solidifying their status as rock icons. As the years passed, they evolved musically. Minutes to Midnight 2007 marked a shift towards a more alternative and experimental sound, with songs like What I've Done reflecting deeper, more mature themes. Despite initial skepticism from fans, their 2010 album A Thousand Suns introduced electronic influences and political messages. The band's willingness to take risks kept them relevant in an ever-changing industry. Tragedy strikes, the loss of Chester Bennington. By the 2010s, Linkin Park had become one of the best-selling bands of all time. However, tragedy struck on July 20th, 2017, when Chester Bennington died by suicide. The music world was devastated, and the band went on hiatus to grieve and reflect. Chester's passing left an unfillable void, but his legacy remained alive in every song and every fan's heart. The present. a new chapter in 2025. After years of uncertainty, Linkin Park made a bold return in 2025 with the album Echoes of the Machine. Their latest single, The Emptiness Machine, captures their journey through grief, healing, and rebirth. While Chester can never be replaced, the band continues to honor him through their music. Their legacy lives on. From struggling teenagers to rock legends, Linkin Park's journey is one of passion, perseverance, and resilience. Whether you grew up with Hybrid Theory or are just discovering their music, one thing is certain: Linkin Park's impact will never fade. Which Linkin Park song? A busy college campus with students hustling between classes. The camera zooms in on a fresh-faced student, A. Moore, standing nervously on her first day at college. College, a fresh start, new faces, new friends, and maybe a few enemies too. Meet Amor, a young woman full of dreams and expectations, stepping into her new life. Little did she know, her first day would set off a chain of events that would teach her a valuable lesson about judgment, hatred, and the unexpected twist of love. Amor, sitting in a classroom, she notices two guys, one sitting confidently with a slightly aloof attitude, and the other friendly, welcoming, and kind. On her first day, Amor met two guys, each seemingly representing a different side of human nature. One was rude, arrogant even, the other humble and polite. What happened next was something she would never have predicted. The rude guy refuses to share a pen with Amor as she asks for help. The humble guy gives his pen to her and lets her fill her forms first. Imagine this. You're in a new place, surrounded by strangers. You need help, and one guy refuses, while the other goes out of his way to assist. The rude guy, let's call him Raoul, and the humble one? That's Arman. Amor, feeling offended by Raoul's behavior. Amor felt a strong dislike for Raoul. His arrogance left a bad taste in her mouth. But Arman? He was everything Raoul wasn't. Amor couldn't help but gravitate toward him. Amor and Arman becoming friends, hanging out and studying together. Over time, Arman and Amor became fast friends. But as life often shows us, friendships aren't always smooth sailing. One day, Arman, unknowingly, unintentionally, started ignoring her. It was small at first, but soon it began to sting. Arman doesn't offer Amor a lift home, despite both going in the same direction. And then it happened. One day, Arman had his car, but didn't offer her a ride, even though they were heading in the same direction. Little did Amor know, his friends were waiting just a kilometer away. Amor feels betrayed, distancing herself from Arman. Amor felt hurt. She couldn't understand why Arman, who had been nothing but kind, would suddenly act like this. Was he changing? Was it all an act? In a flash, she cut ties with him, leaving the friendship in the past. Amor searching frantically for her book the night before exams, typing a message in her class WhatsApp group, asking for help. A few months passed, and then came a moment that would change everything. Amor found herself in a panic. Her exam book, the one she needed to study, was missing. In a last-ditch effort, she posted in her class WhatsApp group, hoping someone could help her out. The phone vibrates, and a message from Raoul pops up. To her surprise, it was Raoul, the very same guy she had sworn to avoid. He was the only one who replied. Not only that, but he drove a few kilometers out of his way to deliver the book to her doorstep. Raoul hands over the book with a smile, while Amor stands there, shocked and grateful. Raoul, the one she'd once hated for his arrogance, was now standing at her door, helping her out in her time of need. Amor stood there, staring in disbelief. This wasn't the man she had judged so harshly. Amor, thanks, Raoul. Don't thank me, Raoul said with a grin. If you pass tomorrow, just buy me a cup of tea and some biscuits. And just like that, they both laughed. The walls she had built around herself began to crumble. The two of them laughing over tea with a casual, friendly vibe. They share stories and jokes. From that day forward, Amor and Raoul became the best of friends. All the resentment, all the hate she'd once felt, it vanished. It turned out what seemed like arrogance was simply a mask for something deeper, and what seemed like kindness had its own flaws. Amor and Raoul sitting together, chatting, their friendship stronger than before. Sometimes the people we dislike the most are the ones who teach us the greatest lessons. Amor learned that first impressions can be deceiving, and that the more you hate, the more you realize just how much you can come to love. Amor looks directly at the camera, smiling. Have you ever experienced something similar? A time when you judged someone harshly, only to find out you were wrong? Share your story in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life lessons from the world around us. The camera pans out as Amor and Raoul continue their conversation, now comfortable in each other's company, a friendship strengthened by time. Because sometimes the more you hate, the more you love. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep discovering the unexpected.